Welcome to Lesson 1 of an Introduction to Greek. We will read through this lesson together and talk about it, and then I'll show you how to answer the questions on the study guide. Okay, first things first, we are eager to go. Oh man, okay, you did not know, but if you finish Greek successfully, you too can be a chariot driver with a team of horses. Look at that guy. He knows Greek so well. You will too. Lesson 1. Declension of O stems. Declension of O stems. Let's read the quote. En archi in o logos. One more time, do it with me. En archi in o logos. It's John 1:1 from the very beginning. In the beginning was the Word. Greek will enable you to read the New Testament in the original language. This is what the Apostle John wrote. First paragraph, declensions. There are 3 declensions in Greek instead of 5 as in Latin. To these, because of their general uniformity, the O stems serve as a good introduction. Okay, let's talk about a declension. What is a declension? Well, as you know, Greek nouns change their endings much more than English nouns. In order to keep track of which endings to use, Greek nouns are put into groups. There are 3 groups of nouns. A declension is a kind of group. And whatever the ending of the stem is determines what declension the noun belongs to. There are 3 declensions, as it says. O declension has an O at the end of the stem. A has an A at the end of the stem. And the 3rd declension has whatever else. So there's 3. The O declension, the A declension, and the other declension. As you can see, they said the O stems are the best place to start because they're really predictable. Okay, paragraph 2, O stem masculines. Nouns of the O declension whose nominatives end in os are usually masculine. Okay, when we talk about the O declension and the nouns in it, each noun could be a masculine, a feminine, or a neuter. Well, we will talk about masculine nouns. That means that all the nouns in this lesson will require you to use O as the article. O is masculine. And you should know whenever you see an os at the end of a word in the dictionary or in your vocabulary list, it is probably, usually, but not always, masculine. And remember, gender does not have to do with facial hair or biceps. Masculine is a grammatical category. It just means use the O. So, O potamos, the river. O means the, potamos means river. It's where we get the word hippopotamus from, river horse. Here are all 8 versions of the word river with their matching the. Please notice that the article must change to match the noun. Let's read them. I'll say it, then you say it with me. O potamos. O potamos. Tu potamu. Tu potamu. To potamo. To potamo. Ton potamon. Ton potamon. Plurals. I potami. I potami. Ton potamon. Ton potamon. Tis potamis. Tis potamis. Tus potamus. Tus potamus. You will want to spend time and memorize this pattern. These are Latin endings because historically someone didn't start learning Greek until they had learned Latin, and the Latin served as a reference point for the new Greek. We don't necessarily know Latin. You can skip those endings and ignore them. Memorize this so that you can write it down perfectly in this order, singulars and plurals, in less than 30 seconds with no mistakes. That's how you know you got it. In like manner, inflect o adelphos. To inflect means to write down all the versions, add the endings. If you'll notice, we're memorizing o potamos not because it's the only Greek word, but because this word serves as a pattern for all masculine o declension nouns. So it says inflect o adelphos. That means you'll write down o adelphos, tu adelphou, to adelpho, and so on. Number 3, accents. In nouns of the o declension, in acute, that's this mark here, there are 3 accent marks, and this one is called the acute. On the ultima, in the nominative, is changed to a circumflex in the genitive and dative of both numbers. Okay, there's going to be 2 points, point A and point B, talking about accents. When we're dealing with o declension nouns, if you see this kind of accent, an acute accent on the ultima means the last syllable, not the last letter, but the last syllable. We have o, a, vel, phos. A, vel, phos. That one has 3 syllables, and the acute is on the last one, so the acute is on the ultima. Potamos. Po, ta, mos. The acute is on the 3rd and final syllable. So if the acute is on the last syllable, it changes to a circumflex, which is the curvy hat-like accent mark in the genitive and the dative of both numbers. Singular genitive and dative, plural genitive and dative. So we have oo, o, on, and is with the circumflex. And then when you get to the accusative, it's the same again. Okay. B. An acute on the ultima, and we know what those things are, changes to a grave, the 3rd type of accent, when a word follows without intervening punctuation. Okay. Adelphone, all by itself, would have an acute accent over the O, adelphone. But since there's a word immediately following and the accent is on the last syllable, we change the acute to a grave, like we see here in this sentence. Adelphon echi. Adelphon echi. He has a brother. Number 4, cases. When we talk about cases, what we mean is a different version of a word that's required for a specific job in a sentence. For example, in English we say, he likes him. We can't say, him likes him, because the subject of a sentence has to have he. Greek does the same thing much more extensively. Cases. The endings of a noun tell its case and use. The nominative is the case of the subject. So, we've discussed this before. This should be a review. The nominative is the case of the subject. I strategii, nominative, isan adelphi. The generals were brothers. Greek does not use word order to tell you the job of a word in a sentence. Instead, we look for the ending. So who were brothers? Look for the nominative, I strategii. The generals were brothers. The genitive suggests relations like those expressed with of in English. It frequently denotes possession. When we want to say of something, we use the genitive case, the genitive version. You can think of it as the of version of the word. Here's an example. O tu strategou adelphos. Now, o adelphos by itself means the brother. But squished in between the and brother, we have the genitive, tu stratigou, the of the general brother. We would say it like this, the brother of the general. So the genitive, tu stratigou, we translate with an of. Third one, the dative. The dative suggests relations like those with to or for in English. It frequently denotes the indirect object. So think of the dative as the to or for version. Here's an example. To stratigo, that's dative. It means to the general. To stratigo. Pempi, he sends, ton adelphon. He sends his brother to the general. D, the accusative is the direct object of a transitive verb. So the fourth main version, accusative, is used as the direct object. So who's being sent here? A brother. A brother is direct object. So we have adelphon, pempi. Adelphon is the brother, is the direct object. Pempi. Okay, number 5, the article. Like English, and unlike Latin, Greek has a definite article. The definite article is the grammar name for the word the. Latin has no the. English has a the. And when you use the article, it must agree with its noun in gender, number, and case. We saw that with potamos. Every article had to change to match potamos in case and number. It often serves as a possessive pronoun as my, your, his, etc. So not only can it mean the, but it can also mean one of these type things, my, your, his, their, our. And when you look at the article, you will notice, let's go back up to it actually. If you'll notice, O and E have no accent. Tu, to, ton, tis, tus all have accents. O and E are called proclitics. They don't have an accent of their own, and they're pronounced as part of the word following them. So you would read this as opotamos, opotamos. You would read this one, tu potamu. But O and E have no accent, so they combine in speaking, so to speak, with the word after it. That's what it means for them to be proclitics. Now, the ending shows you the case, and the ending shows you the number, so we have to have different set of endings for nominative, singular plural, genitive, singular plural, dative, singular plural, accusative, singular plural. So we have 8 different endings here for the article and for the noun, because the ending shows you case, number. Okay, now, last point here. Greek has no indefinite article. The indefinite article is a or an. Greek doesn't have the word for a or an. Well, what do? You add one if you need it. Here's an example. Echi adelphon. Echi means he has. Adelphon means brother. It would be fairly awkward English to say he has brother. So, in order to smooth it out, you can add the word a. There is no Greek word for a. We just add it to make it sound good. Okay, let's read this vocabulary and we will be done. Actually, we'll stop there and pick up the vocabulary in another place.